situation in the country. A very popular reason for joining the Taliban is to earn money. The Afghan National Army pays its soldiers between $70 and $90 a month, and the Taliban are rumored to pay $12 a day. So if you do the math, if you're poor, your crops have maybe been eradicated by the American or UK forces that are destroying the coffee crops, and maybe you've lost a relative, and you're an angry young man who needs to eat, you will join the Taliban or another insurgent force. So if we address poverty and the alleviation of poverty as our first priority, as the first priority of Canadian foreign policy in Afghanistan, I think we'll see a weakening of the Taliban and less Canadian soldiers. So a third objective, to create an environment where Afghans can take on reconstruction and development activities on their own terms, to create the space and allow the time for the capacity building of the Afghan security sector. This is extremely important, building the capacity of the police, of the army, because there is corruption there is a lack of professionalism, there are human rights violations, the practice of sexual violence taking place within the very forces that are supposed to be protecting the Afghan people. So if Canadian foreign assistance concentrated more on developing and building these areas, that's another way to contribute to peace building in the country. To provide security to facilitate pivotal democratization events such as elections, Voyagurgas, and parliamentary sessions. To support and bolster effective mechanisms for conflict resolution and reconciliation, such as mixed gender shures. Shures are local councils for decision making that are an age-old tradition in Afghanistan of how people do politics at the local level, and they've become strengthened by war actually, because Afghans did not have their national government to rely on for service provision to protect them for policy making. So local political institutions took on a lot more strength, such as shuras. So they're there, and they're flawed, but they are a mechanism in which we can work to provide peace building and human rights. And finally, to ensure the security needs of women and girls are met, which include protection from sexual violence, trafficking, rape, and other security threats commonly faced by Afghan women. A lot of the security threats Afghan women in particular face are from the local police, or members of the army, or insurgent groups other than the Taliban. So it's important to broaden the view of what insecurity means in Afghanistan and to look at all these different actors. And I want to talk briefly as well about Afghanistan's place in its neighborhood. Geopolitics is a very appropriate term for Afghanistan. Nothing in Afghanistan happens in isolation. It all has to do with events taking place in Pakistan and Iran, in the United States, in Saudi Arabia, and so on. So we have to look at these other actors. Canada, in the treaties, I've talked a bit about defense, a lot about development, but not so far about diplomacy. We need to use our diplomacy to address the issues of Pakistan's role in all of this. The Pakistani ISI, their version of the CIA, is an extremely destabilizing force in Afghanistan. Allowing the training and recruitment of Taliban fighters in the border areas of Pakistan is also a destabilizing force, and that's not being addressed adequately, and Canada can't have a role in that through its diplomacy efforts. So I think I'll probably leave other things I